Hello and welcome again in Padayon YouTube channel. This is the part 2 of chapter 6 nutrition. So when we walk or ride a bicycle we use energy, right? And even when we are not doing anything, apparently we are using energy. Energy is needed to maintain a state of order in our body. So we also need a material from outside in our body to grow, develop, synthesize protein and other substance needed in the body. So the source of energy and material is the food that we eat. Now, how do living things get their food? So generally, for the requirement of energy and material is common in all organisms, but it is fulfilled in a different ways. Some organisms use a simple food material obtained from the inorganic source in the form of carbon dioxide and water. Now, these organisms, the autotrophs, including green plants and some bacteria. Other organisms utilize complex substance, and these complex substance have to be broken down into simpler ones before they can be used for the upkeep and growth of the body. To achieve this, organism use biocatalyst called enzyme. Thus, the heterotroph's survival depends directly or indirectly on autotrophs. Heterotrophic organisms include the animals and fungi. So it says there are two parts, right? One that make their own foods, and the other one is that depend on the plants and other animals. Autotrophic nutritions. Carbon and energy requirement of the autotrophic organisms are fulfilled by photosynthesis. It is the process by which the autotroph take in substance from the outside and convert them into the stored form of energy. So this material is taken in the form of carbon dioxide, water, which is converted into carbohydrates in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll. So carbohydrates are utilized for providing energy to the plant. We will study how this takes place in the next section. The carbohydrates which are not used immediately are stored in the form of starch, which serves as the internal energy reserve to be used as and when required by the plant. A somewhat similar situation is seen in us, where some of the energy derived from the food we eat is stored in our body in the form of glycogen. So here they are talking about the plant. The plant does the photosynthesis, right? During the photosynthesis, plant use the carbon dioxide and water that is present, and the chlorophyll and sunlight to convert into a food for the plant. Now the formula that you know about it in your last previous studies, 6CO2 plus 6H2O in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight gives out the C6H12O6, that is a glucose plus 6O2 atoms. Let us now see what actually happens during the process of photosynthesis. The following events occurs during this process. So first process is absorption of light energy by the chlorophyll, conversion of the light energy to chemical energy, and splitting of the water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen. The third step is reduction of carbon dioxide to carbohydrates. These are the steps that followed by the plant to produce the energy. These steps need not take place one after the other immediately. For example, desert plant take up the carbon dioxide at the night and prepare the intermediate which is acted upon by the energy absorbed by the chlorophyll during the day. So it's not necessary that everything take place same time. It could be some other time as well. Let us see how each of the component of the above reactions are necessary for photosynthesis. If you carefully observe a cross sections of a leaf under the microscope, you will notice that some cells contain green dots. These green dots are cell organelles called chloroplast, which contain the chlorophyll. Let us do an activity which demonstrates the chlorophyll is present for the photosynthesis. That the iodine test you have already done before as well. Now here what they're trying to say is that see how many components are there during the process of photosynthesis. If we observe the cross sections on the right hand side, here in left hand side, it's a 6.1 figure, show the whole cross sections of the leaf. Now here it is chloroplast, air space between them, guard cells are there, right? In the activity of the iodine test, which suggests us that when you are found a leaf variant in both the 6.2, the green color shows the presence of starch in the leaf. Now let us study how the plant obtain carbon dioxide. So you have studied in class 9th about the stomata, which is a tiny pores present on the leaves of surface of the leaves. Massive amount of gaseous exchange take place from here. So carbon dioxide taken in and then oxygen thrown out during the photosynthesis. But it is important to note here that the exchange of gases occurs across the surface of the stem, roots and leaves as well, where the all green parts are there. Since a large amount of water can also be lost through these stomata, the plant closes these pores when it does not need carbon dioxide for the photosynthesis. So it can be open or closed. This process takes place in the guard cell. The opening and the closing of the pore is a function of a guard cell. The guard cell swells when water flows into them and causing them stomata to pore to open, right? Now similarly, the pore close if the guard cell shrink. So this is how it happens, right? When the guard cells are filled with the water, right, they open, and when they are water, they lose the water, they are shrink. Based on the two activities performed above, here the two activities, right, that shows that watch glass contain in potassium hydroxides and with the potassium without the potassium hydroxides, right? After a while the tree would not get the carbon dioxide back and into the plant, so it will not show, or it starts showing the the plant does not grow at this moment, or it stop being green enough. Based on the two activities performed above, we can design an experiment to demonstrate that the sunlight is very essential for the photosynthesis. So far we have talked about the autotrophs meet their energy requirement, but they also need other raw materials for building their body. Water used in the photosynthesis taken up from the soil by the roots in terrestrial plants. Other materials like oxygen, phosphorus, iron, magnesium are taken up from the soil by the roots, right? The root taken up all this and then provided to the plants. Nitrogen is essential element used in the synthesis of the protein and other compound, and this is also taken up in the form of inorganic nitrates or nitrates, or it is taken up as organic compound which have been prepared by the bacteria from the atmospheric nitrogen. Heterotrophic nutrients, another kind, right? They depend upon the autotrophs. So each organism is adapted to its environment. The form of nutrition differ depending on the types of availability of the food material as well as how it is obtained by the organism. So here we are talking about the food source is a stationary, grass or a mobile. Now would allow the differences in how the food is accessed and what is a nutritive apparatus used by the cow and a lion, right? So there is a range of strategies by which the food is taken in and used by the organisms. Some organisms break down the food material outside the body and then absorb it. Examples are like fungi, like a bread molds. They break down the substance of food before they take in yeast and mushroom. Others take in the whole material and break it down inside their bodies. So what we can be taken in and break down depends upon the body design and functions. Some other organisms derive the nutrition from the plant or animals without killing them. These are known as the parasites. So parasitic nutrition strategy is used by the wide variety of organisms like a cascata, amarbel, orchids, tick, leaves, and leeches and the tapeworms. How do organisms obtain their food? Since the food and the way it's obtained differ, the digestive system is different in a various organisms. In a single celled organism, the food may be taken by the entire surface, but as the complexity of organism increase, the different part becomes specialized to perform different functions. Here is the given example of amoeba. How amoeba takes its food. So here is A, B, C, D is given, right? And whenever the food particles is nearby, amoeba creates an artificial hand like a structure. It's known as a pseudopodia. Then it covers the whole particle in it and create a food vacuoles. After that, it take the food and convert into a simpler ones, forms and diffuse into its cytoplasm. The undigested material was moved out to the surface and then thrown out through it. So it is a unicellular organism and the cell has a definite shape and food is taken in a specific spot. The food is moved into the spot and movement of cilia which cover the entire surface of the cell. So that's the end of the second part.